Hey, you guys. Welcome to the We So Late per usual. If y'all knew what was going on behind the scenes, you would be laughing with us. But welcome to the live that we promised you guys in regards to unlocking service bureaus. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and we're going to talk about how service bureaus operate. And we also want to get a little bit of feedback from you guys to understand how you think service bureaus are supposed to operate. All right, so let's jump into what is a service bureau. Um, I kind of want to speak to both you guys first. What was your first experience with the service bureau, and what do you think it's supposed to do?
So my first experience with the service bureau was through a lady that posted, do you want to own your own tax business? Because that's how they pull you in, right? And
Tax
so
business and tax.
yeah, no training on the software whatsoever, because I feel like a service bureau is it's a collective of many things to make your business successful, right? So I'm just giving it to y'all in layman's terms how I understand it. And so it's a certain level of support that you should get, number one, and training and technical support, right? So I didn't necessarily get that in the beginning. I matter of fact, I didn't get it at all, you guys. I'm sorry. I had a brain fart. I did not get it at all. So I kind of had to learn my particular service bureau and all of the information that it entailed on my own. Okay. And so I didn't have to pay for the software, which I probably should have thought something was wrong with that one first off. But I didn't have to pay for it. And it was just really strange, like how to log into my particular information. It had my phone number, but it had the person that owned the business. It had her email on there. That's strike number two. That should make you be like, it's a head scratcher, right? It's, um, I didn't know coming out the gate, like literally coming from H&R Block, like these things were supposed to happen, right? Because H&R Block has their own little whatevers with their service bureau too. So, you know, so that would basically be my quick take on it, in terms of what it is, what, I got from it, which was absolutely nothing. And totally opposite of what I expected it to be. So, I mean, you should be like certified in certain things, like your company should require that. And it wasn't required of me at all. It was just like, let me throw you in to shark infested waters, figure it out on your own. And I'm pretty sure that everybody that's watching or has worked for someone, they have the same exact story. So yeah, that's my little third grade story with that one, because it's really not a whole lot to go on, but I definitely did not get what I expected that I should have gotten um,
I
when
definitely
someone
understand that.
dealt with their service bureau.
Okay. Definitely. I can understand that. I had somewhat of a similar experience. My first service bureau was a corporate service bureau, though. So they provided a split. They did want some of my fees, which I thought was, now looking back, was definitely kind of like a weird situation because I had my own documentation, you know. I also had an experience where it wasn't necessarily a service bureau. I got my software in the beginning for free, so I didn't have to pay for software, but I also wasn't given any type of training, and I only experienced tech support.
Yeah.
But those fees, I thought I was winning because I was no longer paying a prepare split. They weren't getting some of my fees,
Right.
but those back end fees for those bank products were predatory. It was really, really, it wasn't a good experience for me jumping out the gate. And then from there, I stayed with the service bureau, and they told me that I was going to become a sub service bureau so that I could go out and I could sell the software. So they didn't charge me to be able to come in, but the amount of money that I was making them by selling that software and bringing other people in that I wasn't being compensated for was absolutely ridiculous because there was
Mhm.
no way for me to build on top of those fees because they were so erroneous. It was just
Yes.
crazy. Tamita, have you had an experience with the service bureau? And if not, what do you think the service bureau should provide?
Yes, I have. When I first started doing taxes, with a company, but then once I went on my own, I went with someone, and um, well, actually, no, I did not even know what a service bureau was. It's just like once I started doing, tax returns and I started seeing, how much my fees and this fee and that fee, then I seen, service bureau fees. So I was, I did ask, what were those fees? And, and yes, she told me what they were. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, this was my first year, using somebody's software. So, whatever their fee, their fee. Um, but then, as time went on, and I'm like, hold on, why I can't here? Why I can't, make this money? So
Yeah.
Yep.
again, being my second year, really not knowing too much. So I stayed again. But like now I end up, getting in with Tamika, and like really within the past 2 years that I was with the other people, Tamika has shown me like a lot. Like she showed me a lot.
Yeah.
So I do, and now I feel more comfortable becoming a service bureau. So yes, do I want to sell software to other people? Yeah, I do. I actually want to be able to sit back sometimes and do a tax return or two or three when I feel like it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
becoming a service bureau, is, I mean, I don't see no harm in it. Like I think I'll do good. And I got a good support team, so
Most definitely, I agree
why
with you.
not?
Yeah, I feel going
Okay.
with this company that we're with now, I feel like it's more of a success rate because she stays on this people. Like if you're watching and if you're not sold on the fact that you want to join TNB Tax, you should because she stays on our behinds about education, certifications, come to your classes, do your trainings.
Y'all
You know,
just will turn this
Mhm.
into a
it,
commercial.
it can't be one of them situations for break, but that's how it's supposed to be in the off season. So you're prepared for the new season. So
Right.
now Tamika been down my throat for years, like you done joined everybody else's but mine. And when I finally, made the decision to join, you see the vision within the company, especially when you have the materials to be successful. It's not just start getting your
Mhm.
clients now. You want to bring them over to a company where number one, your documents are safe. Not everybody in their grandma suit is looking at your stuff. You're the
Mhm.
one that has access to it. And then don't even get me started on the fact that service bureaus will close down and keep your information. You can't even get to your previous clients' tax returns. You can't even get in the system anymore. So you would never think going into another company that, oh, shoot, all these tax returns to myself because this place is not going to let me get it. So, you know, I can go on all day about that, but I'm going to pull back.
Right. Right. Right.
Fired up, y'all. Fired, y'all a little mad. Y'all a little mad. So,
She
uh,
will suffocate you. She gonna suffocate you with information. Let me tell you.
I will definitely. I think it's very important that we make sure that everyone is following their processes in order for them to be successful. Now, I don't want y'all to be mistaken. I do not babysit y'all, but I do make sure that I put the systems in place to get y'all where you guys are supposed to be going. That
yeah.
is so because of that. Let's jump into the differences of how service bureaus operate. Do you think that it should be you think that there should be some type of training or some type of workflow behind a service bureau when they're bringing people on under them?
Yes, yes. And again, I have a lot to compare it to. So yes, I do believe they should because guess what, Tamika? Like anything, the government can change, which would affect us doing someone's return depending on what tax bracket they fall under. Like literally, like the gas prices, it can change within minutes. Because guess what? They have every right to do so. It's not like it's no set rule that the IRS has to have something set in place before tax season happens. So yes, there needs to be a lot of hands-on things because sometimes you might run into something that you have never run into before and we might have gone over it in class or you have access to call one of your mentors like, hey, I don't understand this return or I don't understand what form this is. Do you know what this is?
Right. So a preparer development, I personally would feel like under a service bureau, preparer development would definitely be an asset, but I feel like it's something that would be in addition.
Mm-hmm.
So look at it like this. If I operate a service bureau and at certain some service bureaus are high volume, so there are hundreds of or even thousands of offices or EROs that are located under them. If
Mm-hmm.
that's the case, having a preparer development strategy the way that I build my team would be impossible. There's
Mhm.
know what, that's why I only take on a certain amount of people. So I think realistically, should there be prepared development strategies if you're into the mentorship side? Yes. But there are different types of service bureaus. Some service bureaus offer prepared development and they or ERO development, office development, and then some service bureaus simply offer software. There are some rare service bureaus that do both, but it's very important that you guys are reading the contract and also talking through the inclusions. Some people see free software and they jump on it, but what does that free software include? What comes with that? Are you just getting software? Does it have tech support? What are the backup options that are going to be able to support you? So the price
Mhm.
of the software, you literally are getting what you pay for at times,
Mhm.
but you want to clarify what you're getting. I wouldn't purchase software with someone if I'm a new person without having a contract that outlines what I'm paying for. It's one of the reasons why my websites don't have buy now buttons on the software, because yes, you can go in and get immediate access to it, but what are you getting? Some people buy software and they need the help to be able to get those returns done. They need someone to be able to call on. They don't know that there are services that exist. You can have the tax book online. They don't know that there are service bureaus that exist where you can actually call in and prepare related questions outside of just software questions. So there's a navigation of software training, and then there's a navigation of actually training them to prepare the taxes or to be able to answer questions that involve tax theory.
Yes, I
So that's
agree.
so
Mm-hmm.
even having some type of prepared
Mm-hmm.
development it has to be niche down as well. I hope you
Correct.
guys are taking notes, and this video will be posted. We'll make sure that we land it and keep it in there so you guys could come back and take notes to what you want to ask. The reason why I'm making this video is because I see so many people, and I'm in all of the groups. I comment in all the groups. I move around a lot, and it's just because I like to kind of like watch people and see what the pain points are and make those adjustments as necessary.
Yeah.
One of the huge things that I see is there's a lot of people that are out there that are selling software, and the new hype right now is that the software is going to be extremely low. People were charging eight, nine, $1,600 for software 2 or 3 years ago, right? Everyone was doing it. Now the thing is, we're going to have a less expensive price point for software. So you're going to see software for $89. You're going to see software for $99. You're going to see software for $200. Um, and you can jump on that if you're new and you're coming in, but that might not be what you need, because only software with tech support isn't going to help you navigate the tax season. Only software with tech support isn't going to help you to be able to build on your clientele. So if you had a hard tax season and you're about ready to give up because you didn't know how to market to your clients, you didn't have a storefront, so you don't have foot traffic, then when you pay that $97 and you don't have anything left, or you go about investing hundreds of dollars into marketing systems that don't work because you don't know the market that you're coming into, it's a very frustrating
Hmm.
situation.
Yeah.
Um, and the money comes in quick with taxes. So just think about how much, if you take the time to do the education and really research the companies that you're signing on with, if just imagine how much money you would actually save. Sometimes a higher investment up front will get you way more money in the long run.
Hmm.
$97 might produce you a good $60,000. But what are you going to do in the off season? What else did you learn? What information did you walk away with? Do
Right.
do you have, did you provide you with free resources? Um, did you have the ability to actually have a consultation with someone? Did you call in and say, "Hey, this is where I'm at in my business right now, and can you give me some pointers on what are some things that I can do next?" Is there some type of mentorship behind it? So
Mm.
career development is a whole different hole that you can go down into. So I kind of want to get into the software itself, right? Let's talk about software only service bureaus. Um, and the fee structure. This is my
We
so
love-
inside service bureaus, the fee structure works out like this. There is an SB fee. Most SB fees can go up to $99. There is a transmission fee. Now, the transmission fee is unavoidable. It is generally something that is provided directly um, by the software and or the over service bureau. Um, Averages anywhere. I've seen them as low as like $2, and I've seen them as high as $14, but generally not that much.
Mhm.
There is something called a tech fee. The tech fee comes directly from the software. I should mention that all of these fees that I am speaking in reference to are always attached to bank product returns, right? So if you want to offer bank products, and that's the bread and butter of the structure of tax business that you're going for. All of these fees is what you would be paying directly. So if you are a service bureau, there are no SB fees. But if you are under someone else, then there are SB fees. And that's the way for you to be able to tell if you really are a service bureau. Do you have SB fees? Then you're someone that's under you. So the tech fee comes directly from the software itself, and it just really depends. I've seen $12 tech fees, $10 tech fees from TaxSlayer, and I've seen $35 tech fees up to Crosslinks. So the software
Yes.
imposes their own tech fee, but even the tech fee can be written up, right? The transmission fee can be written up. So you want to make sure that when you're signing on, you know what the markup is. You can ask that question. Some people might not be comfortable with divulging that information to you, but I just kind of want to know for my business practices how much of the additional fee is actually going to you. That way I can gauge for myself when it makes sense for me to separate. If
Mm,
that's the plan, if the ultimate goal for me is to elevate through the system, I want to be able to balance my books and know, okay, at this point, I'm paying too much for this software. Let me go ahead and invest my money to becoming a service bureau myself, or maybe might want to go and buy software direct.
right.
And if you're getting software direct, when you're if you're getting software direct, you can do the pros and cons. So software only service bureaus kind of have to come value packed, in my opinion. They have to come value packed with services to back up the upcharge.
Right. Because they don't. And then when you get to looking at your fees, you're like, how am I going to charge my client this much? How?
So,
It's a loan. That's the it, and we're not even talking about the fees that the preparer charges. That's a whole nother beast. We're talking about just the
Uh-huh.
charges from the software.
yes,
Loan, it's like this
just
client.
to be able to use a bank product. There is one more fee that I didn't get a chance to get to. There is a document fee, right? It's called a doc fee, document prep fee, that I believe can get charged up to, I believe the highest I've ever seen was like $78. I'm not familiar with all forms of software. There may be some software where it can go higher than that. But if you got a $199 SB fee, $99 transmission fee, $99 tech fee, $99 document prep fee, that's $400 in fees just to be able to process a bank product before you even step your foot out the door. And
Mm,
yes, I have had preparers inbox me and show me their fee structure, and they paying $400 for bank products.
yep.
Now, I personally don't see a life where I would be paying $400 to have access to someone's software, even if it did come chock full of value, right? I think that there is a such thing as an ethical service bureau and an unethical service bureau. This is just my opinion. I don't tell anyone else how to be able to run their business, but I do want people to be able to make informed decisions because I'm tired of y'all getting beat over the head.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I myself have different software package options, right? My software package does I charge a $50 SB fee. The reason
Mm-hmm.
why I charge that $50 SB fee is because even though it says software only, you still have support. You can ask tax related questions, and my client relations team will respond to you with, "Hey, I have a Schedule C, such and such and such. What other forms?" And we'll send you forms or whatever it is that you need to be able, or we'll send you the IRS link and site for you to be able to go in and find that data. It gets more the options for you to be able to upgrade on that service depends on what level of software that you buy. So even at the basic level of package, I justify that SB fee, which
Yeah.
is still relatively low. Transmission fees are standard. My tech fee, I do not mark up on, and we do not have a document fee. Doc,
Mm.
I don't charge a document fee. In fact, we reserve document fees for the people if they want to mark up and have a little bit of golden treasure at the end of their rainbow when their tax season is over. But that
Right.
is a topic, that's something for another day. Um, Delving more into the fees. Oh, actually, okay, so hold on. So those are bank product fees, right? There are additional fees that I've seen other service bureaus charge. Now, these aren't just strictly software service bureaus. I've seen service bureaus that provide also training and mentorship, but there are some that have join fees. So in order for you to join into the network, there would be a fee for that. I see
Right.
bureaus that have an annual fee,
Yes.
where there is a re-up for you to be able to gain access to whatever new product releases that they have in a particular season. I see that there are some people that charge a software fee. So even though you're in their service bureau, the software is not free. So you're
Right.
paying, $97, $600, $1,200, and whatever's built into that package, that's what you're paying for. And then there are some people that just do everything a la carte. So there may be an annual fee, a software fee, and then some people have a training or mentorship fee. So they will assist you throughout the season. They will teach you additional information, but you have to break that out into a different package. So
Yes.
some people just say, "Hey, come join my service bureau. It's $2,000, and under the umbrella, you get this conglomerate of stuff." One of the main, again, you just want to make sure that you know what you're getting yourself into.
Hmm.
I also like to caution people to stay aware and be wary of the systems and processes. If
Ooh.
you don't get a contract when you're signing on to a service bureau, then I feel like that's an issue. I don't know what I'm supposed to be expecting. So don't be surprised when the handshake deal doesn't work out. Guys, this is business. This is money involved. This is tens of thousands, for some people, hundreds of thousands, for some offices, millions of dollars. We not giving people, I don't care if the software is free. If I don't understand what I'm being charged, what I'm paying for, what you have access to, what I have access to, how long does that access last? You know, when the season of software is over, do I still have access to this information? If I choose to go to a separate software company, do I still retain rights to log into that software? I am no longer a member of a certain service bureau, but because I negotiated my contract, I can still go look into that software and see all of my old clients' data.
Hmm. And some of them you can't.
So it is extremely important that you have and retain access to your client's data for at least 3 years. You,
Hmm.
as the tax preparer, not the ERO.
Yeah.
If you don't have access to your client's information, for those people that were getting locked out of software all year, and you don't have client copies of that, you're in violation.
Yes.
So it's very important that that you're reading the fine print when you're signing on to service bureaus. You
And
want to
if you
know
don't
how long?
contract,
Yeah,
problem
you
is
have
a
to know.
people
Do they
sign.
have an onboarding process? How do they go about collecting your information? How is that information stored? Is it secure?
Hmm.
You're giving people your social for direct deposit payments. You're giving people your PTIN. If you're an ERO, you're providing them with your EIN, your EFIN number. All of this can be compromised. All of this can be duplicated. How many people have you heard about that have compromised PTINs? They go in and they check their PTIN log on the IRS and e-services, and they've got returns in there that they didn't process. Are you keeping a log of all of the returns that you're processing?
Hmm.
Um, so you definitely want to know how your information is being stored and how access is retained. Is it digital? Do they print it out? You want to be able to trust that this company is reputable and that they have a WISP plan. How,
Exactly.
so just things that you want to take into consideration. All right. So then training in software. So there are two types of training, right? If it is a software, if you're buying software for the company, do they provide software training? Is it in the format of videos, or do you have to log in and just, go to the self-help desk and, type in what your situation is? Do they have live training sessions? Do they have tech support that you can pick up the phone with and call? If they do have tech support that you can call, is it 24 hours? What time zone is it operating on? Are you able to chat the tech support? What's the turnaround time for them to answer your questions? If you run a sit down, 30-minute tax office, you don't have a lot of time to be able to troubleshoot some of those issues. That could be the difference between a client coming in and you need to troubleshoot something and now they're gone and they're down at Liberty Tax or one of the other big boxes or one of your competitors. So you want to make sure that you know what your tech support options are going to be. Updates. How
Yes.
often are you provided with updates? Anyone who's done taxes that starts in the beginning of the season know that you can start a return in January, and by the time February or March rolls around, if that client's information is on there, if you open up that return, those numbers are going to be completely different. do they roll out update training, both
Yep.
for the software, and if it's a mentorship, do they roll out mid-season training to let you know, hey, these are some of the things that have changed in the software as well as what the tax theory code is.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, we already talked on tech support. All right, so I know that that was like a wealth of information. I think we got one more talking point: growth and development. Okay,
Yeah.
so we've mostly been going over the questions that you want to clarify when you're dealing with a software-based service bureau. So now let's talk about the mentorship that gets included. And hold on, because my people is freezing me out in here. They done turned on the air, and your girl is getting a little
Yeah.
chilly.
Sweatshirt now. Because listen,
Hold on, let me go and grab my little sweater down.
wait. Because listen, I do want to add though, people, that keep in mind that of course there's softwares you can buy in the store. They're not going to be, what you need them to be depending on the volume of clients that you have. So keep that in mind. Also, what you should keep in mind as well too is if the company that you're coming in under does not train you in the software, just throw you to the wolves, you might want to rethink that particular company. That's not the company you want to go with. I went through that. And when I called the lady that I was under and I was saying, hey, I just have a question about this particular software. Now, mind you, I said the keyword software. Her response to me, well, I thought you could do taxes. Doing taxes and dealing with different software, two different things, two different things. So you want to make sure that you do your research with different companies that you want to go with, right? Like Tamika was saying, you have service bureaus where you don't have tech support. I had that too. I was with a company and they don't provide that. They take a 60, what to say, 60-50 split, right? And where the numbers aren't right, but y'all know what I mean. But they take the majority for you just using their name and their software. That's it. That is it. And a lot of these companies do have the same software across the board. However, all of those fees are different.
Mhm.
What they charge are different. It's not going to be the same. The name and how it's run is might be the same, but the fees are way different. And like it did tell us earlier in the season, we can go to Liberty Tax, H&R Block, Fast Tax. We can do TMB Tax, and we can do let's just say we can just do another little online service bureau, right? All of their numbers and fees are going to be different. So, say if with TMB tax we're getting you back 6 grand, well, you might go to the other ones and only be getting three. So then that makes the client question, like, okay, so what are they doing so different that you're not doing, right? So when you go to these 30-minute places and they're saying, oh, I can get you back all this money, question that too, because you don't want the IRS letters calling you, talking about, well, this isn't done right, and make sure that your tax preparer, your whoever you're dealing with, is available throughout the year because there's going to be letters you might get. So if they're only dealing with you during tax season, you need to reevaluate your relationship with your tax preparer. They need to be available for you year around because anything can happen with your return. And they're going to need to either go back and look, or there might be an amendment that needs to be done. Tax preparers, if you're watching this, you might have a client that forgot to give you a form. That's going to determine whether or not they owe or whether or not they're going to get an additional amount of money back. So make yourself available. Always be studying. Always be a lifetime student when you're dealing with taxes because it's never going to be the same year to year. And for the
Not even month to month sometimes.
your,
Um,
learn your darn laws for your state because we're sick of having to fix your problems. Okay, TMB charge.
um,
Just
I
saying.
did want to talk. I wanted to touch on something. Audit assistance. I did forget about that. Some companies have the ability to be able to offer audit assistance. Some require that you sell your client audit assistance. So you'll want to be mindful of that. Double check into that, and then also growth and development. We jumping in there. It was something else. Dang it, my ADH is den.
Mine did too. That's why I had to get that out my head. I'm sorry. Okay, so we went over operations, systems and processes, trainings, updates, software download, tech support, what to look for in a
Oh, I
bureau.
remember. Even with my service bureaus that I joined, I was under one. one before I actually jumped out and made myself my own service bureau. I will say I never got preparer development. It was nothing ever than tech support, and I was paying about $165 in bank product fees. It
Mm.
for just tech support.
Yeah.
So before I could even do anything, it was like 165, $175. So just to
Yeah.
give you just an idea of, what fees can genuinely look like. Okay, so
Yeah.
growth and development. So like I said, before we were talking about everything that was service bureau, that was software based. When you're jumping into growth and development, that's a little bit different. So um, growth and development mentors for tax businesses kind of have a little bit more of an intensive process. And it's because they're basically offering to train you on how to get to a certain level in your firm.
Mm.
A lot more responsibility. And the price point for it varies. It's going to depend on the person that you're going to and what they feel like their value is. I always recommend that you talk to the person that you want to jump under for mentorship and make sure that y'all vibe.
Yes.
Watch that
Talk.
person for a significant amount of time before you choose to invest your money behind their name. Because how their brain works is how they're going to approach teaching you. We can
Careful.
have the most thoughtful, written out processes. But if this is not a likable person, you might not want to invest your money there. Now, this is just my personal feelings and experiences. I know there are some people out there that can go and pay someone that they could care less for,
Mm-hmm.
would not want to be associated with, but because they feel like they have processes or systems that can make them profitable, that they'll go learn from them. That's not the way that I learn. So again, take this portion of my advice with a grain of salt because this is my opinion. But I personally wouldn't want to go and sit up under someone that I couldn't potentially vibe with because I feel like building a business is intentional.
Yeah.
Teaching someone is intentional. You want to make sure that that person isn't going to gatekeep information. You want to make sure that that person isn't going to breadcrumb you information that's convenient for them. When you're going for a mentor or you're going into a training situation, you want to have a clear and concise outline of what's included. Don't just let them tell you we gonna meet once a week on a Tuesday at 2 o'clock. And you have no idea what you're supposed to be talking about, what your milestones are.
Yeah.
There's no goal setting process. There are no tools that have been provided to you. You don't want to pay nobody hundreds, let alone thousands of dollars to sit there and just listen to them talk. This is why I do this type of stuff for
Yeah.
free. But when you're in the when you're in the mentorship space, it has to be structured because
Yeah.
you have to have measurable goals. You have to have measurable deliverables in order for you to be able to see success. So if there is no systems and processes into how you're supposed to be trained, if you don't have a syllabus for how this class is supposed to operate, and it doesn't, I call mine a syllabus. It can be an outline, however it is that they want to deliver it to you. But when you're signing on the dotted line, you should know what you're going to be taught.
Yeah.
You should also have a synopsis of what you should be able to understand.
Yep.
There should be a process for your mentor to know if you actually were able to grasp that concept. And there should be a redirect process if you were unable to grasp that concept. If a mentorship module does not have that core basic level, and I just feel like I personally that I wouldn't be able to retain the information. So I'm the type of person that needs an outline, and if I'm going to invest in a mentorship or a teaching structure, then an outline had better be there for me personally.
Yeah.
So I would encourage you to make sure that that's something that you seek out. You should also inquire if there is ongoing updates in that. Just like we want our software updated, we want to know, okay, so I learned how to do standard taxes in the first year. Do you do updates? When they release all of the new laws for 2022 for what's going to go happen in 2023, are you going to be able, can you update me with that information? Am I going to get it the 2023 updates in December? Because I'm buying into, we go to school, most people start their education process in August, late
Right.
July, August, you know. We start ours in July because the basics of taxes is standard. So we
Yes.
start ours in July and then we build on that depending upon where you come in. If you're coming into tax theory, if you're coming into the accelerator, if you're just going through tax academy, whatever your particular avenue is, whatever your pledge is in our accelerator will determine where you're going to go. But ooh, lost
Mm.
that thought.
What happened?
Where'd I go?
My God.
I told you the ADH was about to start being. I did not get my
See?
my standard coffee. I
Oh,
did so I normally have my Lion's Mane coffee in the morning and I was in a rush this morning. So yes,
okay.
prepare development. Okay, so yes, you want to make sure that you're getting those updates and those releases on a consistent basis. And then do they stop there? Once they teach you how to do business taxes, if you're in a continuous mentorship program, I should say that because if you just buy business taxes, you just gonna get business taxes. If you
That's
just
it.
buy 1040 taxes, then prepare to just be taught how to do standard tax return. But if you're in a continued situation where there's a prepared development that's built into whatever your service bureau arrangement is, then you want to make sure that you're getting continued education. What's the new crypto law? What's going on with the new real estate?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
every year we know that certain laws change. We know that there's going to be new levels on the standard deduction. That's going to change. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They may introduce some new forms. They may take away some forms. We know 2024 is right around the corner. A lot of forms are getting ready to come back. you know, so
Yeah.
all of that's relevant. All of that information is relevant to what you're going to continue to learn.
Hmm.
So my advice would be to just make sure that you do a deep dive on what your inclusions are going to be and what your deliverables are. I don't have a problem with someone charging a $200 fee on your bank product, but did you pay for if you didn't pay for software and if you got continued development and you gonna get updates, then I don't. And if they will help you process a tax return, I can understand why you're paying $200 because they're just as involved in that tax return as you are.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly.
I personally feel like a service bureau I feel like a service bureau who charges the fees on the back end of the bank products would be more ideal than someone who wants to take a split of all of my fees. That's just my personal opinion because I want to get all of my money up front.
Right.
I don't think um, I don't think that there would be a situation that existed where I had an EFIN and I would ever give anyone a piece of my money. It happens though. I've seen it.
Hmm.
All right. I think that's kind of like all that I have. I don't know if you guys want to add anything else, but that's pretty much that's the gist of how service bureaus operate and how they work. They're pretty much in business to be able to offer you a one-stop shop for you to be able to get your software options, your tech support options, your development options, and resources. Service bureaus are supposed to be a wealth of resources. So if you don't feel like you're feeling the riches of
Right.
uh, of the because you got options.
Hmm.
We see them posting. We see them post every day. We know not just the individuals that we rub elbows with on a consistent basis in the social media streets. We also see big box companies are jumping out like Profundo. They're
Hmm.
charging $99 to help you process tax returns, right? Refundo used to be a bank product, and now they actually have tax software. So
Right.
people are always going to be up in the ante in this space because there's so much money to be had. There's also so much manipulation to be had if you're not educated about how you want to move through this space. So
Exactly.
want to encourage you guys to be intentional. I want to encourage you guys to be educated. I want to encourage you guys to assert yourself, advocate for yourself so that you know where your money's going so that you don't feel like you You don't feel like anyone cheated you. You don't feel like anyone bamboozled you. And it's okay for you to get that information and say thank you, but no thank you.
Yes.
Get some quotes, demo, sit on a
Yes.
couple calls with some people and compare your notes on what it is that they're offering and go with where you feel you're going to be able to have a home. Next year, when we get into tax season, I don't want to see you guys out here crying about how you locked out of software and you didn't know. I don't want to see anyone who has these long, expensive contracts that have non competes when we all know that we all deserve the right to be able to go and make our money.
Yeah.
Guys, please start negotiating these contracts for yourselves. Just because that's what the contract says, you if you really want to work with that person, you can come back and say, "Hey, listen, Tamika, I really love your program and I would love to work with you. But I'm wondering if you can allow me a few concessions, such as you said you have a non-compete, which I don't. But you
Mm-hmm.
have a non-compete in your contract that states that I'm locked into this for the next 2 years. I have plans to become an ERO on my own. So
Mm-hmm.
can I come in at your XYZ price point and gain the knowledge, or do you have a service bureau program that I can join? Put your options out there on the table and viably negotiate for yourself.
Yeah.
You have to treat this like a business because it is a business.
Yep.
Even as a tax professional, this is a business, and you are responsible for maintaining your professional integrity as well as your um, protecting your client,
Yes.
protecting their information and protecting their space. So I need you guys to be really, really intentional about who you guys are choosing. Thank you so much for coming to learn about how I unlocked service bureaus and what our collective experiences was. I'm gonna let you guys put in your final thoughts, and I'm finna try to get me some more tea.
I'll let Tamita go because I have been talking too much. So Tamita, you can go and I'll go last. She with us? Tamita, going once, going twice.
Oh, you know what? So yeah,
Okay, I'll just go.
probably have to step away.
So,
No
yeah.
worries.
So listen, people, just to reiterate, make sure, piggybacking off of Tamika, make sure that you do your research. Make sure that you're again a lifetime student with this business because that's the success you will have in this business, knowing the rules and knowing how to navigate the rules. And if you don't know the rules, it's okay. Look it up. Okay, the client would rather you look up the rules and show them what you're looking at versus just off the top of your head, right? And then you also want to make sure that if your tax preparer is not on you about record retention, if they're not on you about following the rules, if they're not asking all the necessary questions, run as fast as you can, and go somewhere where they're going to be thorough. Just because it's got to be quality over quantity. It has to be. So just make sure you're dealing with somebody that's more savory, the one that's asking you for your records, especially early in the year before the new tax season comes in. I'm already hitting my clients. Hey, I need paperwork. What we doing? When is your stuff coming in? You know what I'm saying? Especially if I got a schedule C, baby, give me them receipts now. I need to know everything I'm dealing with. But I stay on my clients. I stay. Give me my stuff. So I might be partial, but if you're looking for a new company, TMB is the place to be, baby, because you're gonna learn everything you need to learn. Because you're gonna be in them Zoom calls, you're gonna be in them classes. Because if you don't, you ain't gonna have no access to it. Like you don't play these games, and it's
Provide
more
you with some resources.
dealing with someone who has a chain. Like this is like we work with this company. Like we dig in and we work. We're
Sweat equity, baby.
because like she said, it's money to be made, but make it the right way though. Make it the right way.
It be
You know.
money upstairs. All right, y'all. That's what we got.
Yep.
Y'all enjoy the day. Thank you for watching. And I'm going to pin a post for you guys to be able, especially in the TMB Institute group. I'm going to pin the post so that you guys can add yourself to Restream so that you guys can start commenting live. So, y'all take care.
Bye.
Bye.